A manager returns from a productivity workshop with notes, but by Wednesday, the week still descends into urgent crises. Techniques seem helpful for a day, but old habits return because the underlying beliefs behind choices were never examined. This occurs when change is seen as external pressure, and personal behaviour is expected to follow without internal shifts. When the inner map remains unchanged, new tools become another layer of guilt instead of a source of clear action. The cost is evident in strained relationships, inconsistent discipline, and repeated promises that quietly expire under stress. Long-term results require a different starting point, where character and principles drive behaviour before tactics are applied. An inbox overflows, a calendar is crowded, and every request feels like an emergency because priorities were never defined. Even kind intentions can turn sharp, as the day becomes a reaction to others rather than a chosen direction. You will learn about inside-out change, proactive choice, value-based planning, trust-building communication, and renewal habits. This video is inspired by The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, and subscribe to practice each habit weekly. A paradigm is a mental map that shapes what you notice, what you ignore, and how you interpret events. An inside-out approach begins by examining these maps, then reshapes character and motives before attempting to change relationships. Chasing quick fixes may temporarily hide symptoms, but chronic problems often return and worsen. By changing the map, behaviour and attitude change more naturally, as choices align with principles. On a subway, loud children initially sparked irritation until their father explained their mother had died an hour earlier. This new information instantly shifted interpretation, transforming anger into compassion and altering behaviour without forced techniques. This pattern matters because the issue often lies in how a situation is perceived, not the situation itself. It redirects effort away from blaming circumstances and toward taking responsibility for the assumptions that drive reactions. Write down one current frustration and consider what belief about people or time is silently shaping your response today. Then test that belief against principles like integrity and patience, replacing it with a map you can live by. Proactivity means that behaviour stems from decisions and values, not from moods, conditions, or other people's weaknesses. Between stimulus and response lies a space where you can choose a response, rather than letting impulse dictate your actions. This is important because reactive habits hand control to the environment, allowing small setbacks to dictate your tone, effort, and patience. When values lead, the same pressure can produce steadier work and calmer relationships, as choice remains available. In one organisation, a man anticipated needs, offered analysis, and worked within what he could influence, rather than complaining. His circle of influence expanded until leaders relied on him, demonstrating how responsibility creates trust and real leverage. This approach keeps change practical by focusing on the part you can directly act on today. It also shrinks the habit of blaming, as thinking the problem is outside yourself only empowers it to control you. List what is inside your control in a difficult situation, then stop spending energy on concerns you cannot influence. Choose one value-based action you will take this week and track whether your circle of influence grows. Begin with a clear vision of what truly matters, allowing that guiding principle to shape your daily decisions and roles. Start by defining your core values and direction before creating schedules, tasks, and projects. Without a clear end in mind, life can become a script dictated by circumstances, with priorities set by the loudest voices. With your values clear, decisions remain steady, under pressure, as integrity replaces constant emotional reactions. Imagine your funeral 3 years from now, and envision 4 speakers describing your character, relationships, work, and service. This exercise clarifies your contributions and conduct, transforming vague goals into a standard you can follow. This concept aligns with the inside-out approach, as a clear end vision reshapes the paradigms behind your behaviour. It also enhances proactivity, as knowing your principles makes it easier to choose responses rather than drifting into default. Draft a personal mission statement that outlines what you want to be, what you want to do, and the principles that guide you. Subscribe to continue learning how to write a mission statement, set goals by role, and build habits that hold under pressure. The time management matrix sorts work by urgency and importance, revealing where attention is spent and why days feel frantic. Quadrant 2 includes important but not urgent tasks such as relationships, planning, exercise, and preventive maintenance. When most time is spent on crises, Quadrant 1 expands, depleting energy and leading to relief in unimportant distractions. By investing in Quadrant 2, emergencies shrink over time, as capacity and trust are built before trouble arrives. A group of shopping centre managers noted that their best move was building helpful relationships with tenants who run the stores. This answer shows that leverage often appears quiet and relational, even when results like retention and performance improve later. This connects back to starting with the end in mind, as priorities must be chosen before the calendar can reflect them. It also connects to proactivity, as acting on important work requires choosing it before urgency forces your hand. Identify your key roles for the next 7 days, then set 1 or 2 important goals for each role. Schedule time for those goals first, then adapt daily when surprises happen without abandoning what matters most. Win-win is a mindset that seeks mutual benefit, where solutions satisfy everyone and commitments stay high. It depends on an abundance mentality, the belief that there is enough for everyone, not a zero-sum scarcity script. Without this, relationships slide into competition, defensiveness, and positional bargaining, where one side must lose. With it, trust grows through deposits like kindness and keeping commitments, making communication easier and more effective. A company that preached cooperation then offered one manager a Bermuda trip, forcing colleagues to compete against each other. That setup produced rivalry, proving you cannot get cooperative results from a competitive paradigm and reward system. This approach ties back to earlier habits because character and self-control are required to stay fair under pressure. It also prepares the ground for empathic listening and synergy, where differences become stepping stones to better options. Make one deposit in an important relationship this week through honesty or keeping a promise that has been delayed. When conflict appears, state the other person's needs clearly first, then look for a third alternative that serves both sides. Effectiveness is not a burst of productivity. It is living by principles that keep results and relationships healthy together. The shift begins inside, because a better map and better character produce better decisions than any surface technique. Proactivity uses the space between stimulus and response, and planning starts by defining the end and setting priorities. Public victory comes from win-win thinking, empathic listening, and synergy that creates a better third alternative. Over time, these habits build a reserve of trust, reduce crisis work, and make cooperation feel safer and more natural. They also protect energy because renewal in body, mind, spirit, and relationships keeps the other habits possible. Start with one private victory today by choosing a value-based response, then scheduling one Quadrant 2 activity this week. Keep it simple because consistent practice matters more than intensity, and progress follows a natural process over time. Take time to sharpen the saw and treat renewal as a commitment that protects your ability to contribute and care. Subscribe to keep building these habits with clear examples, weekly practice prompts, and relationship tools you can use immediately.